I've been using a Pinstripe Pedals DISO in my rig for so many years at this point, everything from the original DISO Plus to the DISO XO, and today I'm excited to check out the newest iteration, the DISO E. So let's see what's changed and if it's right for you and your rig. So the DISO E is their new active line isolator, and in case you're new to Pinstripe pedals or don't know what a line isolator is, I'll link a video right up here where I go into some more detail into that, but basically it's like a better DI box where it doesn't lower your signal at all and it retains all of your clarity. So at a glance, we can see it's very similar to the DISO Plus. On the DISO E, we've got our usual 1/4 inch ins here as well as our XLR outs. And we also have buffered 1/4 inch outs as well in case we're running into powered monitors or amps. We also have this ground lift here to eliminate any ground noise. We have an XLR polarity reverse right here in case you're running to amp modelers maybe that are out of phase. You can just flip this to make them in phase with one another. And then we also have this XLR sum right next to it in case you need to sum your stereo rig to mono. And here is where we're going to feed it power. And this is where we're going to see it start to be a little bit different from the original DISO. The biggest difference is that it's basically adding an active buffer into this, meaning that you're going to see some of those benefits like maintaining all of that good high-end clarity and preventing signal loss. It's worth noting too that the DISO E also uses Cinemag transformers for less distortion and overall clarity as well. Another really cool feature is that you can integrate this with the Pinstripe TXRX receive boxes. So let's say maybe if you're running amps off stage, you could go out of these XLR outputs up to 300 feet away to those receive boxes and then into your amps from there. Now, how does this sound compared to the original DISO Plus? I'm going to demo them back to back, and I would definitely recommend using some headphones here because the differences are probably going to be pretty subtle. So I do hear some more clarity in the high end with the DISO E. Hopefully that's coming through with YouTube's audio. It's not a crazy difference, but it's definitely noticeable, especially while I'm playing. The feel and the response definitely feel better to me with the DISO E. So as far as who I think this might be for, I think there's a couple things to consider. The first would be whether or not you already run a buffer or buffered pedals in your signal chain. In the clips that I just demoed, I am playing through some buffer solutions in my rig, so the differences are a little bit more on the subtle side. If you don't already use a buffer, then I think you could probably expect to see a more dramatic improvement with something like the DISO E. The other thing I'd consider is how you plan to use it. If you only play through modelers, then you might be able to get by with something a little bit cheaper, like the DISO XO. This only has XLR outs on it. It doesn't have the 1/4 inch outs. So if you're just playing through a modeler, that's kind of all you need, and you'd be able to save a couple bucks going with something like this. For me though, I love how versatile the DISO E is because I'm pretty often switching between running through my Tonexes and my amps. So it's super useful just to have these options on here. I could go XLR out straight into the Tonexes one day, and then the next day I could go 1/4 inch out into my amps. And then I could go XLR out as well to a pair of those receive boxes to run amps off stage like we do at my church. So really I get a ton of options and I don't have to be swapping between different units all the time. So big thank you to Charlie over at Pinstripe Pedals for letting me check this out. I'll drop a link down in the description so you can learn a little bit more about the DISO E as well as some of his other offerings. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.